I was always a fan of history and language and history and poetry. I studied it for many years, and sometimes it shows up articulately in what I write, and most of the time it doesn't. And I wrote a book based on the premise that Billy the Kid, the great Apache leader Cochise, and the poet, French poet Rimbaud were on the planet at the same time, and they were. And that always kind of blew my mind. And along those same lines, I wrote a poem subsequently called While the Symbolists Stormed Paris. And kind of imagined what would happen while the Symbolists were setting fire to the cafes in Paris. Rimbaud and his gang. Well, while that was happening, while the Symbolists stormed Paris, Mescalero Apache sat on a rock. And the most fragile rain of Sonora doused the campfire and pocked the hard ground with scattered pin-headed splashes, and its cool analgesic relieved temporarily the solitary volcano of his state. And this morning, I had a cup of coffee while the Symbolists stormed Paris. And they learned there was much to learn from the dead, and how the desert deranges the senses up close and makes you believe you see prehistoric bones of ancient birdsong in the vast blue empty silence, or the distinctive pedigree of a rattlesnake's memory. And this morning I'm drinking coffee and reading Verlaine while the sun soaks the page in warm yellow light. This summer was hotter than Janis Joplin singing Summertime, and the campfire smoke will cleanse you if you let it wash over you with all the theatrics of the wind. And Verlaine left his flamboyant, drunken mark on every bar he entered. Half-finished scraps of absinthe-soaked poems erupted out of his pockets, and separated from his lover, let the river's edge smells of Paris wash over him like cheap perfume. And he scrawled Rimbaud's phone number on every latrine wall he found, from Montparnasse to Clichy. Just a couple more here. Anybody ever visited Hovenweep National Monument? Wow, is that a place or what? Terry Tempest Williams wrote, "Where we live is at the center of how we speak." I always like that line. This is a few words from Hovenweep. The summer clouds are a last supper of wind-blown, dozing swans over the ruins of Hovenweep, high in the Utah desert. Anasazi first breathed this radical architecture on the planet 800 years ago. Undiminished, eternal. The passionless cannot change history, Milosh wrote. The remote beauty, the hair-trigger heat of Cajon Mesa rises on my face while I hike the solar-blanched Yucca morning trail. Like Venus, this desert is a harsh mistress. Shamisa, freckled gangster goddess, how eloquent the blood speaks in her cheeks, holds a rusted belt buckle against blue sky, and her song trembles in raven screech over gardens of desolation. Every canyoncito a ragged scar of secrets. And beneath a summer black sky of mudhead Katsina clouds, Pancho Villa crosses the border at Columbus and takes a long trickster coyote piss next to the plaza and leaves his name steaming tequila gold on the desert floor. 3. At the end of the day, it's in our campfire DNA to tell stories. Whittled poems fresh from starlight as it sweats American night down upon us like summer rain. A warm wind chases the ghostly evening fall birds in nonsensical patterns that dream roam this landscape across the mercurial wingspan of time. And I'd like to end on a real high, funny light note. This is called On the Day I Die. It's time you confronted it, Knacker. And that's for you, babe. Rumi has a little quote here. I quoted: Christian, Jew, Muslim, shaman, Zoroastrian, Stone Ground, Mountain River, each has a secret way of being with the mystery. The Day I Die, this is my last poem, thank you. Did I say this is my last poem? It's not my last poem on earth, hopefully this is my last poem.
Last poem ever.
Tonight. The day I die will be the second most important day of my life. Everyone else will be slouching towards some end or beginning. There will be something to look forward to or nothing at all. Malcolm Lowry will still be dead, but Popocatépetl's smoke and ash can still be seen by Montezuma as ghost language. A few hummingbirds won't survive the journey to backyard nectar. Most will. Most will continue to pray for no more Verduns or Gettysburgs. Some won't. War will always be an option, peace a luxury. The post office will fall the way of the Pony Express, and news of my death won't spread far or wide, but what most people on Earth don't know, a predator drone will tell them. I will have survived most of my dogs. Most of my power animals are extinct except for the Mexican jaguar and diamondback rattler, extinction being a long-term solution for a badly mishandled short-term crisis. A man in Santa Fe will wear his new Hawaiian shirt for the first time, and for her first time, a teenager in Peoria slips out of her lace panties. And somebody will have demeaned an entire race with a slur, while somebody else once wrote something woven from the filaments of the past. A few will have their execution stayed, most won't. There will still be great beauty, great ugliness, and they will remain equal parts of the same unifying, staggeringly wondrous whole. And small men like rough beasts will still crawl across the wasteland to be reborn as sphinxes or small kings, and not one indignant desert bird's wind shadow will cross their stone eyes. And some will be better at this than me. Accosted by all manner of the body's rude trespasses, or life's long game shortened each day by a breath or two. Myriad churlish infirmities glowering just outside the window. At its best, life is one long sound check. And the peril and wonder of rising each day to the untroubled air or some cold hell of a wind to save the whales, the desert tortoises, or visit Grand Cayman while reading Creeley, his prayers, his perfect eye firmly on life's memory and presence. We will all go gently and not quite into that good night, and a poem will still leave its breath on many windows, and will cut through the soul's viscosity and through the dust and ruins to a place beyond my own border wire, to the mystery of dreams. Thank you very much. You're a great audience.